I know. I've become looking at it too. It looks really, really fucking good. But that's our top 10 games for E3 that we are most excited for. For E3. So quickly before we move on to our last topic before we go into the after show. Leave me a second here as I bring up the kind of B-roll behind me. There we go. So E3 happened. We covered it. And we discussed our thoughts on the press conferences. We saw a lot of games from afar, obviously, watching IGN.
Yeah, a lot of games.
IGN, GameSpot, and any other gaming outlet out there. And I kind of wanted to talk about just overall E3 this year and just kind of my thoughts and our thoughts on it real quickly. E3 this year was great. I think that with the press conferences, with the exception of EA, was fantastic. It was those moments where, this is exactly why I am a gamer, like why I love video games. And this
absolutely,
and it justified like everything in most of the press conferences. Seeing the games that are going to be coming out pretty soon, seeing a few surprises, seeing stuff that it made me not to be sappy, but it made me like really happy. Like, taking me back to not taking me back, but like just making me feel happy for the hobby that I'm in.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. Like I kept saying that this was the best E3 in years. I know that people shit on the EA and the Sony conference because the EA conference arguably was pretty bad, but the PlayStation 1 didn't have any new announcements except for maybe Ghost of Tsushima, which was still announced last year. We just saw gameplay of it this year. And that like Nintendo didn't really show off a whole lot of stuff. It was mostly about Smash or whatever other complaints. But at the end of the day, we saw games.
Exactly.
We saw a lot of games. Mm-hmm. We didn't have ridiculous stuff. I mean, we did. We had Andrew WK. That was ridiculous. We did have a whole like, let's watch two people play on their phones for 20 minutes situation.
Yeah.
We did have a dude come out and play a banjo, and then shortly after that come out and play the Japanese bamboo flute that I can't remember the name of.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still a really, really solid E3. Better than the past years. Like, every other year before that, it was like, oh, Sony was the clear winner. Or, oh, Nintendo did a better job. Very clear on that. This year, like, it's kind of a toss-up. Like, yes, we could say that the Xbox won because it had the most games. But, I mean, as you and I made the joke, like, the gamers win at the end of this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, the gamers definitely won in this E3.
Like, I keep saying to people, like, if there was something you were looking forward to that you were disappointed by, stop concentrating on that one disappointment and concentrate on that thing that got you excited. Stop paying attention, not exclusively pointing at Insobiner in the chat right now, but if you didn't like Fallout 76, there had to have been something else that you were excited about. Absolutely. So why get mad about 76? Why like concentrate on that? Mm-hmm. Like, be disappointed. I get it. I get being disappointed by something you might have been looking forward to, but I feel like people online who you were later, you're not angry about 76. That's why I said I'm not pointing at you, Josh. I'm just using it as an example. Clarify that. Not pointing at you. I'm pointing at the people online that were like, 76 isn't an RPG. It's this bullshit survival game. Like those people. Why are you concentrated on that? Because I guarantee you there was something else at E3 that had to have gotten your interest.
Absolutely. I feel like everybody was happy taken away from this year's E3. Like, I walk away with games I'm excited for, and the games I was looking forward to, and I got what I wanted out of E3, and then some. And the other things that I keep hearing when I was listening to podcasts and watching these gaming outlets talk about E3 is that E3 to them, as far as like when it comes to press, like they're seeing it to where E3 is going to eventually turn to Gamescom. It's going to eventually turn to a PAX because
it has to. Yeah.
They open up they're just like second year doing open to the public.
10 years ago, Anthony, 10 years ago, you could be on the floor and you found like a booth area that had like all the classic consoles you could just play.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't exist now. It's not there.
Yeah, and that's something that it seems like E3 is going towards. Like they put out recently like the attendance numbers, and it was like slightly higher than last year's. And
well, I don't think it'll ever not. I don't think it'll ever not be called E3 just because that's what people recognize it as. It's the same thing with Comic-Con. You think Comic-Con's about comics anymore? Fuck no.
Right.
It's at best. What did I call it a long time ago? Nerdy Gras, Geek de Gras. Basically trying to do Party Gras with, not Party Gras. What is it? The New Orleans celebration.
Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. I was trying to do that with Mardi Gras, mix of that. But point is, I'm getting at is like, Geek Fest is Comic-Con, Games Fest is E3.
Yes.
And they'll never change their names, but that's absolutely what they're becoming.
Yeah, and I for E3, I think they have to just to be. I want to say be relevant, but be in the eye of like the public. Because like yeah, because like most of these companies don't need to go to E3. They can do their own event, and they can showcase their game and have all the time in the world for them. They don't particularly need to do it, but E3.
Blair, is that Burgers Con?
But like yeah, it is definitely an interesting direction that E3 is headed towards, but it's also a very necessary one for obvious reasons. But outside of that, like it was a really good one. It was really good.
Yeah. It was like I said, we had a lot of games thrown at us, and not just games that are coming out, like in 2 years or whatever. Like I guarantee you, like Elder Scrolls 6 doesn't even have a subtitle to it.
No, that's
and I guarantee you it's at least 2.5 years out.
It was crazy. Is in some of the press conferences, or at least when it comes to some people that was listening afterwards, like. They're talking about next gen. They're talking about the next console. I was like, what? Like, they didn't like say it outright, but they implied it. So it's like, oh wow, they're already thinking about the next console already. I mean, like to be fair, it's been like 5 years, at least with the PS4, or at least with this current generation of consoles. So it's interesting to kind of hear that talk, and people are saying like it's, time wise, like it's always 4 or 5 years. It's gonna be a new console. Always comes around this time or around that time. But people are still saying like there's still a lot of juice in these consoles. So before they want.
I full on expect next year both Microsoft and Sony to announce their new console. But it won't be like a December release. It'll be like it's coming out at the end of 2019. We just want to tell you about it now.
I guarantee you one of them is gonna.
Or sorry, 2020.
Yeah, I'm gonna guarantee you one of them is gonna say like our new console's coming out in 2020.
Yeah,
that's gonna be. I feel that's gonna happen. I feel it coming.
Yeah.
So,
I'm also making a statement right now, Anthony. If we're still doing this show, doing this web stream in a year from now, and we talk about E3 2019, we are going to be the podcast, the stream that refuses to choose a winner. I genuinely hate that shit.
I don't think.
Like why?
Well, we kind of did. But
we did, and I hated it. Yeah. I made that very clear when we did it. I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it because it's this weird idea that we have to choose somebody who beat out everybody else with their announcements, when at the end of the day, everyone's just trying to give us what we want, give us games that we want to see and play. So why are we choosing a winner? Like I want each conference to put on a good show. I absolutely want that. And this year, minus EA and arguably Square Enix, they all put on a good show.
Would you feel more comfortable giving them a grade then? Just like
I still don't really like that. I feel like these conferences shouldn't be graded as if they're pieces of entertainment. Like their announcements. Like, are we going to be going to D20 and going, Nintendo, or not Nintendo, sorry, Disney, you really put on a B grade fucking stage show? No, we're not doing that. So why are we doing that here?
It's been a thing for quite some time. I mean, like I like.
And I refuse to do it anymore, Anthony. Is my point.
All right. Well, if you feel like that way, that's fine. Like I don't mind either. Let's just try to be more different than other podcasts out there and other game outlets. I don't mind either if we stop doing those, honestly, because I feel like you said, like these other gaming these other game press conferences are showcasing games that we're excited for, and like there's definitely games that we list off. Like yeah,
we can talk about that until we're blue in the face, and I'm totally down with that. Like talk about all the games that were announced and stuff like this. This podcast I fucking love because we're not talking about whose conference was better. We're talking about the 10 games that excited us the most. That's what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
So that's what I want to concentrate on, the games. I cannot emphasize that enough. Consoles aren't sold because they're fucking media entertainment systems. It's because of the games that are on them. Conferences aren't,
yes,
the E3 doesn't exist because Microsoft came out and said, we're Microsoft. It exists because of the games that are on the Microsoft system or the Sony system. That's why people pay attention to this shit, is the fucking games.
Absolutely.
So we cannot concentrate on who did a better show.
Right. Because at the end of the day, the gamers won. That's pretty much what it came down to for this E3.
Yep.
At least how we feel. But that's gonna do it for us. Like again, most of the stream was gonna be focused on just our top 10, our afterthoughts on E3, and pretty much we've actually been spending up most of the time that I was hoping for. Woohoo! So before we go, Greg, where can I find you on the internet?
You can happily find me on Twitter @ChubRockGeek. Tell me how much I'm